Today, I'm going to be speaking about the law of integrity as one of the major pillars of prosperity. Some people prosper, but they prosper with shame. But I trust that your prosperity will be underlined by integrity. Your work practices will be pure before God, and you find yourself blameless, without blame before the Most High God. You have to understand that work is a divine mandate. It is something that God Himself has placed you upon this earth to do. And so whenever you find yourself working, you go beyond a human being. You are actually doing something that God Himself approves of. Turn your Bible to Proverbs chapter 23, verse 4. It says, labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom. So the essence of work and labor is not to be rich. It's not because you want money. You see, if you place money before your work, you are likely to lose your integrity. If you make money the motive for working, you are likely to be corrupted. And so the essence of working is first to do an excellent job and glorify God. You see, the money becomes a reward for the job, the quality of the job you have done. And so the Bible tells you clearly in Proverbs chapter 23, labor not to be rich. Let not that be your drive. That shouldn't be your motive. Why are you working? Hey, I need money. I need money. You see, when that becomes your drive, you are likely to be easily corrupted or to do a lot of evil things. So at the end of the day, when you even have the money, you will have lost integrity. Is somebody hear me? The right biblical way to work is that I'll do a good job. God will be pleased with what I've done. I've glorified God with my work. Okay? My fruits glorify God. When you have done an excellent job, money will be a reward. So money is actually a reward for work, not a motivation for work. And many people err because they put money before the work. So sometimes a job that should even cost 1 cedi, they want to talk about 10 cedis because their aim is not to do a job. Their aim is they want to make money. They pass all their problems in life into a job. So you go to somebody who wants a service and the charge is 1 cedi. But because you have needs worth 100 cedis, you charge 100 cedis and you create inflation and you disturb the system. And many people haven't understood work. And that is why it's important you understand the law of integrity. There are many people who have. The way they have it is very wrong. Can you understand what I'm saying? So as a child of God, your work must glorify God. It must speak about who you are. It must be a testament of your character. Labor not to be rich. Life is not arbitrary. It takes time to be rich. And you must build a good, reliable brand through your work that can be trusted. So we are not looking for an overnight, you came to church today, tomorrow, I've become rich, I've become rich. No. He that hasted to be rich has an evil eye. It takes time to be rich. And so you've got to learn how to take time so that you keep your integrity. What you produce must be consistent in quality and it must be reliable in performance. What people offer is more than a product or a service. What they offer is a brand. So your works will brand you. Every time you do something, you are actually branding who you are. You are revealing who you are. You are telling through your work that this is who I am, these are my values, and this is what I stand for. But what is important is to be reliable, is to be dependable, is to be trustworthy, and I guarantee predictable results. I am not arbitrary. So when I sweep, you can trust that my sweeping is consistent, is reliable, it's solving a problem. Every time you ask me to come and sweep, there will be predictable results. Every time you ask me to sow, there'll be predictable results. Every time you ask me to preach, there will be reliability, dependability. You are not going to be not sure of what I produce. I mean, can you imagine if you go to a doctor and you can't trust in him? You can't trust that he will prescribe the right medicine, the proper medicine. So, the prayer warriors, the ashes. You see, have you built a brand? Because it's going to take a lot to be able to be consistent. It's got to be it will take a lot to be dependable, to provide a guaranteed result. That is why Mercedes-Benz is a brand. Toyota, it's a brand. They are telling you who they are through their work. So when you find somebody who does shoddy work, or you find somebody whose work is not good, you see, there are a lot of things speaking. Are you with me? So don't joke with your work. And that's why we are taking time to talk about prosperity, because it comes through your effort and your personality and who you are. What you put on at the end of the day is a reflection of who you are. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 12. It says that you should not be slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. So you find out that the Bible tells us that it's not going to be an overnight miracle. It's not going to be sudden, but definitely there'll be a predictable end. Follow those who through faith and patience. Faith and patience. So as you work, be patient to have. It's amazing how many people want to be suddenly rich. They want to be, in fact, they've given themselves, by next year I should be this. You will stress yourself and wear yourself out. And believe you me, when you think like that, you are likely to be easily compromised. Prosperity takes time. When you sow, you don't germinate and get fruit overnight. It goes through a process. So if you find somebody who is so bent on, you may get it, but there'll be a lot of questions. And that is why I'm speaking about the law of integrity. Because underpinning all the things we have said is whether you can be trusted, whether your character is stable. We must be able to build our lives not around our needs, because you'll be frustrated. Build your life by principles. I need a house. I need a car. I need to do this. I need to do that. You see, if you build your life around needs, you will be compromised. As for needs, everybody has needs. And you can't meet all your needs in one day. Did you hear me? Yes. You can't meet all your needs in one day. So if you build your life around your needs, listen, that you pick some things you don't want to pick up. Learn to be patient. Follow those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. Engage higher laws to give you a guaranteed superior life. Focus on your product of creating an excellent brand, and the rewards will follow. Let your works speak for you. In the Bible, integrity carries the meaning of sincerity, undefiled, and pureness of heart and intentions. It speaks about truthfulness and uprightness. So in 1 Kings chapter 9, verses 4 and 5, we see the example of David. God said, "And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep thy statutes and thy judgments." Verse 5, "Then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. So look at the character of David. He's talking about integrity of heart. David's throne was guaranteed and established by his integrity. God found a man he could trust and used him as an example to others who were serving on the throne. When the Bible defines integrity, it includes moral uprightness. It includes honesty, steadfastness, and commitment to righteousness. The biblical understanding of integrity is rooted in a deep sense of somebody who is adhering to God's commandments and a sincere dedication to living a life that is aligned with divine principles. The second definition of integrity has to deal with God's wholeness. You know, it's a complete wholeness. God is complete and whole within himself. Integrity is not a part of God. Integrity is God. God is integrity. His integrity is committed. So when we speak about integrity, we're not talking about something you will pick up on the way. You see, integrity is not a skill or a talent. No, integrity is who you are. So everything you do it with integrity. It flows out of you. It's your DNA. So you can't say, oh, as for this one there, I will try and I'll be right. No, if right is not part of you, you don't pick it up. It's part of you. So when we speak about integrity, we are talking about peoples whose character it's formed and it's built on honesty, it's built on truth, it's built on trust. That when somebody asks you to do something, he can trust you to deliver. Is somebody hearing me? So integrity is not something, it's not one of the things you pick up on the way. It is your life, who you are. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 37, Jesus simply says, let your answer be yea or nay. All you need to say is yes or no. If somebody asks you to do something, yes or no. You see, anything more than that leads you into trouble. And this teaching underscores the importance of truthful and straightforward communication. Would you come? Then you start scratching your head. Would you do it? When will I get it? You see, you can never say yes or no. In fact, one of the languages of many Ghanaians is, oh, about a week. Oh, maybe 3 days' time. You can't even seem to commit them. You can't even seem to get them to say yes, no. There's always a maybe. There's always something that may change. And they want to excuse it. But you've got to learn, if you say 3 days, I will do this. You see, build integrity. Build integrity. And deliver integrity. Because that's the mainstay of prosperity. I mean, to have money and not be respected. To have money and nobody believes in how you got the money. And there are too many people who have made money and end. They don't care how they get it. But if God prospers you, he's not going to prosper you through a bad way. He will bless you through work that is righteous. And you find out that the richest people in the world, they're not drug addicts. They work. They work and they deliver. Even though you are not there, if a computer is produced or a software program is produced by Bill Gates and sent to Choco, it will deliver the same way to deliver in Israel. Consistency. You can trust it. We must build integrity in everything we do. That at every level, every place, every time, what we do and we provide speaks about who we are. So if you are lazy, you'll be exposed. If you are in righteousness, your works will expose you. There's inconsistency. If you rely on gifts, you see, there'll be inconsistencies. We must learn to be consistent. Our integrity speaks that if you buy I don't want to promote any car, that if you buy a car produced from this company or this, you are sure. And if there's any fault, they will withdraw it. Can you be a watch seller with integrity? Can you be a tailor with integrity? Can you be a mason, a contractor with integrity? Because after you've collected the money and gone, they will speak about you behind your back. As for this man, he likes connection. As for this man, dear, if you don't put money down, he'll work. As for this man, this is how he is. As for that woman, you see, that is important. You can't be a Christian and have dishonest things said about you. Jesus advocates for a life where your words align with your actions without any deceit or manipulation. Are you what you say? And do you do what you say? In Ephesians chapter 4 verse 25, Paul writes to the early Christian communities and emphasizes the transformative power of integrity. He says, wherefore, putting away lying, let every man speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Do you lie? Do you lie? You sell tomatoes. You see, do you lie about the weight of the meat you sell? You know the meat is not 1 kilo. You know the rice is not 1 undonka. You've dug a hole under it. You know the gari. You see, a false measurement. Huh? No. Church, can I preach today? Okay, thank you. How many of you can guarantee that if you go to a petrol station and you bought 1 liter of petrol, you are getting 1 liter of petrol? How many of you can guarantee that if you go to the market and they weigh something and they say it's 1 kilo, you are definitely sure? In fact, you have to have two scales, one in your house and one in the market. How many of you can guarantee that if a footballer says he's 14 years old, he's 14 years old? You see, it looks like a joke, but you can't build a system based on lies. You can't. You watch and see, you see, as we begin to engage higher laws, in the beginning, it looks like it's foolishness. But as we begin to engage higher laws, you see the blessing of God coming upon us. Because after a while, you build trust and credibility, and everybody who comes from near or far will say, give me a man of integrity. And they will look for you. It's a sacrifice, but it's worth it. So as long as you are doing things, bags of cement, you get a mechanic, buy something. I mean, today it's as if anybody you send. I know we speak in tongues. We prophesy, even from the pulpit. I told you, when we start speaking about prosperity, we will throw light on a lot of the dark, shady areas of our lives. Because God doesn't bless debt. In every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. I remember I went to a certain country in the late 80s, and I bought 6 yards of cloth. I came down to Ghana and found out that it was less than 3 yards. I hope you are not like that. In fact, I believe that you are not like that. You see, when we build it, we build a brand. It's reliable. I mean, no short corners. No. And that is why at the end of the day, no matter what a certain people do, they know themselves and they don't even trust in themselves. Because you that you are, I'm your friend and we are all doing that. If I have a good job and my life depends on it, believe you me, I'll bring it to you. So initially, just like the devil, he gives you something and makes you satisfies immediate pleasure. But in the long run, he's a thief He steals, he kills, and he destroys. If you don't learn to build trust early, you see, you actually destroy a future. Because it becomes your brand. This person is dishonest. This person can't be trusted. This person, you can't rely on him. So initially, you seem to get away with it. But believe you me, you'll be exposed. It is important to build credibility and integrity. Let everybody stop lying and speak every man truth with his neighbor. I mean, can we do business as a church where a tailor in the church, a carpenter in the church, a mason in the church, a banker in the church, a lawyer in the church, a pastor in the church, a cell leader, every one of us speaks truth. And we don't lie. Oh, how enya honey ne? Pastor Ambesho can't hear my cable. You see, let your yea be yea. Let your nay be nay. It's called integrity. Somebody say integrity. Integrity is a major area of concern today, but it's a sure guaranteed way of building an unstoppable future. And because it's a covenant principle, the gates of hell shall not prevail. Everywhere you apply a covenant principle, demons must just stop. You stop them. Integrity lies at the core of every great work. Everything you do must revolve around who you are. And the person who you are is always demonstrated by your actions and the things you do and say. Let's look at an example of a man called Job in Job chapter 1, who emerged as the greatest businessman in his time. Look at his credentials. The Bible calls him a just and an upright man that feared God and hated evil. And he became the greatest of all men in the East. So let's read verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. Verse 2. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. Look at this young Job man, who is referred to as the greatest man in the East. What are his credentials? His credentials are that he feared God and he hated evil. Can you operate rightly and make money? Yes. Yes. Not everybody who is rich is a thief. God is not a thief. The devil is a thief. God is rich. So not Abraham, rich. Our patriarchs, rich. Isaac, rich. Abraham, rich. Jacob, rich. So you cannot decide that I want the blessing of God, but I'm not going to live according to the principles of God. No. No. And there are too many people who are focused on, I want money. No, I want work. You see, because of that, you will lose your dignity. You will even be, you will not be a nice person. Because you want money, you don't treat your spouse well. Because you want money, you don't treat your children well. Because you want money, you become disrespectful. You have money, but you won't spend. No. No. You see, the Bible says that he that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse. So you are around, but people don't like you. You are not nice. And we'll talk about money itself, because the attitudes for money is not a God you should serve. You should serve the greater God, our Alpha and Omega, the covenant-keeping God with our money. We must put money under God. But there are people, if money calls, you will leave God. Oh yeah. If money calls you, forget that you are called of God. So it's important for us to establish this law of integrity. Job's credential is in verse 1. A man perfect and upright, and one that feared God. Integrity was his core credential. The book of Job introduces us to a man of great integrity. Even though he's in extreme suffering, God has described him as blameless and upright. He undergoes immense trials, including losing his wealth, his health, and his family. Despite the overwhelming challenges Job goes through, he maintains his integrity, refusing to curse God. His resilience and unwavering faith, even during a period of suffering, exemplify the depth of his moral character. So you see, one time, very rich. Another time, he's going through issues, but his integrity stands sure. He's still known as a righteous man. He doesn't change because situations have changed. His character stands through. Because sometimes, the examples I'll give to you, you find yourself in a strange place. You see, do you change? You find yourself in Babylon. Do you change? But your character, your integrity. In the book of Daniel, Daniel emerges as a man of exceptional integrity. His commitment to his faith in the foreign land of Babylon, where he served in the royal court, is exemplary. His refusal to defile himself with the king's food, his consistent prayer life, even in the face of persecution, reflects his unyielding commitment to God. Daniel's integrity preserves his righteousness and leads eventually to divine favor and influence in the Babylonian court. So he's in a strange land. He could have compromised, he could have let go of his religion and everything, but he maintains his integrity so much that he realized that, this man. Even amongst ourselves, we know that this man is different. If he had compromised, he would have said, oh, we are all the same. And I'm sure they would have punished him because he was not a citizen of the country. But they looked around and they said, this man is different. He's different. You see, we stand in an environment of corruption. We stand in an environment of loose morals. Integrity doesn't seem to work. But I'll tell you something. Like light shining in darkness, like stars in the dark of the night, will shine through. It's your time now to step out and be different and shine through. When you say, I will do something, do it. Keep your word. Learn to create a brand for yourself. When your name is mentioned, you are a brand. In 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19, it says, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. The Lord knoweth them that are his. The foundation of God standeth sure. The Lord knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ, let him depart from iniquity. But in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. You see, beyond your gifts, beyond your education, beyond your beauty, beyond your talent, what God looks for is a man of integrity, who will do what he says he will do, who sticks to his word, who is complete, and as part of his character is that he can be relied on. Integrity. Integrity. Every poor country, they are talented. They are educated people. But what makes leadership is integrity. I wish I could say that of many African leaders. I truly wish. Because it's not the building, it's not the money, it's not the resources. What you need to drive leadership and to drive prosperity is a man of integrity. So if you want to go far with God, Quickly learn these things. Oh, I'm serious. Quickly learn it and make it a part of your life. That you are going to be consistent. You will do what you say. You will say what you do. And what you say is a brand. It is you. There are categories of people in the church. Gold, there's silver class, there's wood, there's earth, there's clay. Your integrity will define the class you belong. Job became the greatest on the platform of integrity. And what integrity does is that it gives you divine access. So in the book of Psalm 25 verse 14, it says that the secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and he will show them his covenant. He will. You see? So all the people who quarrel and struggle about tithing and about all the things, and you see, look, beyond human beings, there's a God. When they looked for somebody to hand over everything to, they found a man called Joseph. Integrity. Another young man, Joseph, was catapulted from prison to the palace. What's his story? I fear God. He will not touch the property of Potiphar. Whilst he was a slave, nothing was missing under his care. He didn't have thoughts of one day I'll take what belongs to Potiphar and I'll run away back to my village. Because now he was influential. And I'm sure he could move around freely. And I'm sure someday he could just have planned that once I'm working, let me be taking some of the master's things and hiding them. One day, I'll just get a horse and drive right now. He didn't have thoughts like that. Integrity. Bible says that as long as he was in the house, Potiphar stopped thinking about what he even had or what he was about to eat. And he says, I fear God. I fear God. Today there are people who take things and touch things, they don't care. They don't care. And in many churches, sometimes even the offerings are not safe. So we must get to a point where as a church we clearly say that God has blessed us. And there's no kululu. I may not drive what you drive. I may not stay where you stay. I may not eat what you eat. But I can say that my integrity with God is intact. And that is what we are talking about. It's the foundation of prosperity. Every country in the world, when they put something in the shop and they tell you that this is 1 kilo, you know it's 1 kilo. When they price something, you know that it's well priced. When you buy something and they tell you that this thing is value, it's not because somebody has changed the tag at the back and taken his nyama nyama tag and put on somebody's other tag and trying to sell it to you at a higher price. Most businessmen have thrown away their integrities. Do not break trust with God. The law of integrity is non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable demand. God is no respecter of persons. Integrity lifted Job. Integrity enlarged Joseph. And integrity will also lift us up as a church and preserve us. Throughout scripture, various passages underscore the positive outcomes and divine favor resulting from integrity. Let me just show you some of the blessings. Number one, there's a generational blessing that cannot be stopped. Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7. It says, the just man walketh in his integrity. The just man walketh in his integrity. And look at what happens. It says, his children are blessed after him. So there is somebody who is walking, but the effect of his walk also reflects on his children in the future. Don't poison the future of your children by bad practices. Don't endanger the future of your children. Don't let the spirits of parents poison their future and endanger posterity. Let your seed have an advantage. One of the legacies you can leave for your children is a good name. It's a good name. that when your name is mentioned, people will look for your children and favor them. Number 2 is protection and guidance. Psalm 25, verse 21. One recurring biblical theme is that integrity protects. It says, let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee. May integrity and uprightness protect me. The psalmist acknowledges that a life that is characterized by integrity, or somebody who insists on the principle of integrity, serves as a shield, offering divine protection and guidance. And because of who you are, let's say you live in a community where there are thieves, okay? And one day there's a police swoop, and they come and carry all the young people in the area. You know what is going to protect you? Your integrity. Even the people they've carried out, oh, Menele Bemi, he's not one of us. They will speak for you. They will speak for you. Your integrity. But if once in a while you go and join them, then you come. Once in a while you go and join them and you are playing a prank, you find out that you end up in the police cells with them. Your integrity will protect you. Number 3, your integrity will bring a blessing of divine favor and influence. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 3. The Bible frequently associates integrity with favor, divine favor, and influence. What does it say? The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. It means that when you find somebody who has integrity, it says that it guides him. It guides him. But their duplicity destroys them. Today you are like this, tomorrow you change. Integrity's guiding rule suggests that those who do the right thing experience divine favor. Experience divine favor. Experience divine favor. You are a prisoner like Joseph. You found yourself in a situation, but you experience divine favor. Suddenly they send for you. You know, when you are engaging it's not easy. Believe you me. But people notice. I mean, there are people I've lived with who now say, as for you, we knew it. We knew when you were in school. We knew that you would become like this. And I didn't think I was a good person. I thought I was a very bad boy. But one of my seniors said, oh, he's not surprised I became a pastor. Of course, other people may be surprised. But you will find out. It will bring you divine favor. Today, when they are looking for somebody in this area to do something, even among the chiefs I serve with, they will tell you, Yana software, Yana pastor. Working her pastor, he won't cheat us. They know that I will insist on it. Integrity. Integrity. Sometimes I like doing an example. I ask all the cell leaders all cell meeting or cell members to gather together and choose the most righteous person amongst them. Ask all the department members together and choose the most hardworking person amongst you. They can tell. It's not a position, no. It's who you are. Sometimes you may have the position, but they know that it's just a position you have. They can tell. And when push comes to shove and people have to choose, will they choose you? What you are doing today that nobody appreciates will open a door for you tomorrow. Number 4 is unending spiritual blessings and financial prosperity. Proverbs chapter 28, verse 22. There's a link between a life of integrity and blessings and prosperity. There's a direct link. When you find somebody who's just, who's upright, who eschews evil, you can tell that his future. He that hasteth to be rich has an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. Let's all read it together. 1, 2, go. He that hasteth to be rich has an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. So you find that somebody who has placed money, I must be rich, I'm looking for money. Charlie, as for me, I don't joke with my money. Even when I have to do it, Charlie, you see, I don't want to focus too much on that. But money Wisdom is better than money. Salvation is better than money. A good name is better than money. You can't buy salvation. He that hasteth to be rich has an evil eye. Anytime you hear anybody say, Charlie, I'm looking for money. Charlie, ask for me there. Charlie, I'm working on me. The reason I work for money. You, if you like, put that person and make him general manager, your company will go down. Put that money in a position of authority and see what will happen to your money. I'm going to politics. So by the end of the year, I should have $1 million. You see what will happen to the economy. And that's the mindset of a lot of people. Yeah. He that hasteth to be rich, his eye is evil. And he says he does not consider that poverty shall come upon him. You know what that statement means? It means that one day you'll be exposed or you'll be caught and everything you have gathered will be taken away from you. And all of a sudden, poverty shall come upon you. You struggled and you laid it up. All of a sudden, poverty has come upon you. So when we speak about the blessings of integrity, it's important you understand a faithful person will be rich, will be richly blessed. Don't pursue wealth at the expense of your integrity, because it will lead to negative consequences. In the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 8, Jesus says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So when God looks at you and finds you with a pure heart, he reveals himself to you. You are sincere. Your heart is pure. You don't harbor negative thoughts. You are always thinking well. You see, you are thinking well. You've got to understand that beyond just having things, you are prospering both spiritually and financially. You are rich, but your heart is also with God. You maintain your integrity. Why do some people become rich and forget God? It was always there. It was always there. It's just that money magnifies people's hidden character. Now that you have money, you don't have time for God. It's always been like that with you. It's just that poverty kept you coming. Integrity must be the mainstay of our life. So the purity of heart, your integrity is linked to the ultimate reward of seeing and experience God's presence. And this underscores the eternal significance and the lasting impact of a life that is marked by integrity. Maintain a life that is free from moral deceit and compromise. Let it foster a genuine and open relationship with God. To follow the law of integrity means you are going to live with intention. You are going to constantly examine your lives in relationship to these two things. Are we what we say we are? And do we do what we say? Are you what you say? And do you do what you say? If I ask everybody here to preach, everybody here will preach about honoring God. If I ask anybody to come and stand here and preach, everybody will preach about coming to church and serving God, and God is the most important. But does your life reflect it? Oh, it is good to serve God. Oh, even God, when you sacrifice and you have to do this and you put in extra and do it from, God will bless you. But does your life measure up to what you say? Hey, prayer there is good. Oh, fasting is good. Does your life measure with what you say? As for giving, I believe in giving. As for this God, Charlie, we should give. Oh, give. Oh, give. Oh. Does your life measure with what you say? That is what integrity is. And so I end with Acts chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the former treatise have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Jesus began both to do and teach. Notice that the doing came before the teaching. If you change and you try to teach before you do, you will have challenges. You will not be a man of integrity. You do it and then you teach it. Oh, everybody must come to church early. It's not an announcement, it's a life. Do you do what you say? Do you do what you practice? Are you punctuality? Or you say one thing and you do another thing? What is your life like? Because if you start building your life on saying things you don't do, how many of you know that you should love your husbands or love your wives or whatever it is? But how many people will do it? It takes integrity. It takes integrity. So, if you lose integrity, you see, you lose the foundation of a godly blessing. We do because we believe. And because we believe, we do. We are complete and one and whole with our faith. We live in harmony with the law of integrity. And the gates of hell shall not prevail. The gates of hell shall not prevail. There are people who like to give you work and trust you and say, every contract I get, I want you to be the one. There are people who like to send you with money. I remember many years ago when the church started, and then we were young and immature. So we gave the offering to somebody to take home. The next day, an amount of money was lost. And the person argued, this is the amount. Okay. Sometimes there are arguments. Why should the pastor take the church home? Why should the pastor take the offering home? In a small church. You see? It's called integrity. What will keep you? It's not speaking in tongues, so it's more than speaking in tongues and clapping and fasting and prayer and hey la ba ba ba. No. Your makeup, your DNA, your integrity. If you lose it, prosperity is not a mistake. Neither is poverty. It's a choice. So I've shown you 5 areas of covenant practices that will secure you a blessing. The gates of hell shall not prevail. Number 1 is the law of meditation or the law of mental transformation. Number 2 is the law of diligence. Number 3 is the law of self-discipline. Number 4 is the law of hard work. And number 5 is the law of integrity. You see, anybody you see living by these principles, it's just a matter of time. The gates of hell can't stop you. You were born in a family that had so many setbacks, but all of a sudden you are moving out. The blessing of the Lord is following you. You are standing before great men. There's a lifting up, even when men say there's a casting down. Why? Because the gates of hell, you are guaranteed a life that is superior to where you were born. You are operating by higher laws. When I find somebody who has been in church for a while, and you may seem to be, but you see, things are not changing around you. I begin to ask myself a lot of questions. Are there things I don't know about you? Because anybody who applies these laws, God is no respecter of persons. But in every nation, he that worketh righteousness, it means you apply yourself diligently to these covenant principles. God is committed with his integrity. With his integrity. Don't pretend to be a Christian. Don't pretend you are zealous and it's just by clapping and dancing. You see, start living the life. Start living the life. Mental transformation, diligence, self-discipline, hard work, integrity. Integrity. Pastor, you can trust me. You can trust me. How many people in this country can be trusted? But I trust that you are going to be one of the people who can be trusted. How many churches and how many pastors can be trusted? I trust that when people mention Powerhouse, it will be a place they can know that they are safe. Their children are safe. Their marriages are safe. Their businesses are safe. The pastor is not going to wake up one day and say, I have a prophecy, and come and try and distort and lie. No. The Bible says, better is a poor man with his integrity. Integrity in the choir, integrity in the instrumentalists, integrity in the ushers, integrity in the projection team. Integrity, create a brand that when your name is mentioned, you will deliver. Every time the choir comes up here, I want the choir to deliver. It's a brand. Every time anybody stands up on this altar, you are displaying who you are, a brand. You see, it's not being casual. It's not just saying something. You see, it's a brand. And I've learned this from ICGC. Yeah. Because that's who you are. Integrity. Let the ashes of this church be a brand. God, make us a shining light. Let nations come and see how you prosper a people. Hymn square. Integrity. I mean, how many of you are sure that every time I come and stand here, I'll preach well? I will. I definitely will. Because I'm a brand. I am. How does it come? No. I have worked hard. I've applied the covenant principles. I've been tested. And I will never preach a bad message. Just like, I don't want to mention any car. Some cars, every time they produce, people will go for it. It's a brand. They don't produce bad cars. As long as your production is like this, you see, you don't understand the covenant principles. That is why God is the same yesterday. He's the same today, and forever he'll be the same. There are things about God that do not change. His excellence, his holiness. He's the way, he's the truth, he's the life. Let's move away from the earthly standards of your background and let's operate a superior, higher law and thinking and watch the transformative power of the gospel. So I've spoken about the generational blessing. I've spoken about protection and guidance. I've spoken about divine favor and influence. And the fourth one, I've spoken about unending spiritual blessings and financial prosperity. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Shall we rise on our feet?